Welcome to the Easy Bros Fantasy Football Podcast.
Coming at you from the Easy Bros studio in blistering hot Arizona.
Here are your hosts and football fanatics, Edward Green and Zach Rogers.
How goes it, Easy Bros? Welcome to the Easy Bros Fantasy Football Podcast, where we make fantasy football easy for you. My name is Zach.
I'm Fast Eddie, the franchise of fantasy football. I'd like to thank you guys all for coming and listening to our show today. This is almost the last weekend. It's the last weekend before football starts. It starts next Thursday, and it's a big weekend for fantasy football drafts. In our first segment here today, we're going to talk about our fantasy forgiveness players, guys that probably had a hard time last year, maybe because they were in a new team or they had an injury or just it didn't pan out for them last season. So we're going to get into that. And our leading off with that is going to be a quarterback.
All right, I'm going to go Mayfield. Mayfield finished 21 out of all quarterbacks last season. I think he was being drafted in the 6th round. Didn't really pan out. Everybody was talking Super Bowl when it came to the Browns coming into last season, and he really disappointed. I think most people that drafted him really thought he was going to be a QB1 for them most of the season, and within a few weeks of the season, we knew he wasn't. And this year, he is going in between around 13 and 14, but I think you could possibly take a flyer on him. He's really playing for his job this year. He's got nothing but weapons around him. You've got Odell, you've got Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper. You got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. There's no reason Mayfield could not be the comeback player of the year if everybody puts their all in for it. And so I'm saying if you end up going really heavy on running back, wide receiver, kind of forget about the quarterback position, Mayfield is going real deep, so could be a value pickup at the end of rounds.
Yeah, for a guy, he threw for 3,800 yards. He had 22 touchdowns. I think where his forgiveness lies in is in his interceptions. He had 21 interceptions. If you're going to throw 22 touchdowns and then you're going to have 21 interceptions, that's not going to look very good for your QBR. He had a completion percentage of 59.4. He also had an average of 77.2 yards per pass. There's
quarterback?
upside there. There's upside there. Mine is Baker Mayfield as well.
Oh, all right.
I also have Baker Mayfield.
Agreement.
Yeah. So
I like this first one.
So I think
there won't be a lot of that.
I think there could be upside there for Baker Mayfield, and we're just gonna see how it goes. And he has a lot of weapons and a lot of upside.
All right, well, you want to start us off with the running back position since you didn't get to talk about Mayfield? All right, well, I'll start it off with Gurley. Gurley last year, it's not that he finished horribly. He was the 14th overall running back when it came to fantasy. Not terrible. And don't get me wrong when I'm saying this, but at the same time, he's going in the 4th round this year. He is on a brand new team, no preseason, not much to see with him. And so I feel like Gurley is a bit of a reach at the 4th round. Maybe in the 5th, 6th round, I could see taking him and taking that chance. But I feel like 4th round, you need your 4th round to carry you in to the season and be a viable starter each and every week. I don't think Gurley is going to end up being that. If he does, he will surprise me. I don't think I could take him in the 4th. That's why he's on my fantasy. I can't forgive him in fantasy forgiveness.
My running back for fantasy forgiveness is going to be Alvin Kamara. He finished last season in rushing, 22 overall rushing with only 797 yards. So I say Kamara for a guy that, is a number 1 running back, and you're going to expect him to have a high volume with the Saints, that his rushing yards would be a little bit higher up there. So I would say my fantasy forgiveness and someone that I believe could have a lot more than 700 plus yards is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I think he could even get some more yards, just all around. Last season, I'm sure he had a couple injuries, held him out a couple of games, held him back a couple of games is more what I would say. Some of the games he was playing, but he still finished
14
pretty good.
14 games last year.
He
so
finished number 9 last year. So Kamara,
fantasy relevance, yeah.
it's kind of like the Todd Gurley thing. It's not that he was terrible and that he brought your team to the firing depths of the fantasy pits, but at the same time, where you're drafting him, you gotta carry that concern. Who's your wide receiver for fantasy forgiveness?
My fantasy forgiveness is going to be Devontae Adams. A lot of my stuff is based on purely what they did as receivers. Is that who you have, Devontae Adams?
I have Adams also.
All right. Well,
I'm
I'll
over
let
here
you.
pointing at Eddie. I'm like, dang man, we probably should have went over these real quick.
No, it's all right. So you can continue to talk
Nope.
about how
Let's hear what you got
your
first.
stats for him. So mine is based on I base a lot of things on what they did as receiving stats, touchdowns. Devontae Adams, I look at him as a 1,500-yard receiver. I know that he didn't have Aaron Rodgers a lot of the season, or just some of the plays weren't well. He only played 12 games. He had less than 1,000 yards, and he had 5 touchdowns. So I can see that drastically changing. I can forgive him for that. And with Aaron Rodgers back there, I think it'll explode the offense.
I could forgive him. I think, of course, when you finish 21st overall out of all wide receivers, there's room for growth, right? Most of it was to injury. He missed, 9 games? I believe it was 9. Might even been more, maybe in the 9 to 11 range. But when he came back and got to playing full snaps, he was showing signs of himself. And so I would say that for this year, you could easily forgive Adams. I think my problem with Adams, though, is he's going top of the first round or second round. So I just feel like I would go first and second in most leagues. You can't trade your first and second pick. You're stuck with them all season, and if I'm stuck with a guy, I want to be stuck with a guy that is not injury prone, and I feel like Adams is very injury prone. So let's talk tight end.
I didn't have a fantasy forgiveness tight end. I had 2 guys that I wanted to mention that I.
Well, I'm going to share this guy with you too.
All
How about that?
Well, I just want to say the 2 guys that I did want to mention, I don't have a lot of stats on them because they didn't have very great years last year. Or they didn't play a lot of stuff. Was Tyler Eifert and Jordan Reed, both of them in new places this year. I think that we can give them fantasy forgiveness. They're going to be in new spots. We're going to see them in new offenses. They last year didn't play much, so now they're going to have time to heal. And they're going to get right into the game plan, I believe, and I think they both might make an impact on this. I definitely
That sounds a lot like a deep dive. What we
Jordan Reed will. So
we'll be getting into later on.
Yeah, that's a segment we'll talk about later on, and one of those guys might be on one of my deep dives. So, but yeah, go ahead. You have your tight end,
Evan Ingram. Last year he finished 18th overall at the tight end position, and most people would say, how is that possible? Because there were multiple games where he was double digits in fantasy points, but the injuries nagged on him, held him out, and this year he's going in the 7th. I would forgive him. I would take him in the 7th, and I would take that risk on him. I've heard nothing but great reports out of training camp. Evan Ingram is back to his old self. Same with Barkley also. But he is definitely a tight end that in the 6th, 7th, 8th round, I could see myself grabbing, forgiving that last year and moving on.
I feel like Daniel Jones was having some faith in Evan Ingram when he was on the field, and he looked for him.
And he's very athletic for a tight end. He's more of a pass catcher than a blocker, and if he's used right, he could easily top 1,200 yards receiving.
Yeah, and I can see Daniel Jones getting him the ball.
Maybe 6 touchdowns. 8.
All right. That was a pretty good list. I like our list for our fantasy forgiveness. I think it's going to wrap it up for our fantasy forgiveness segment. Next up, we have stepping up. Stepping up is guys that are on the depth chart coming in either second or third that we think can overtake the first or the second position when it comes to second wide receiver, or second tight end, second quarterback, or that's going to overcome the first string.
Vice versa.
Yes. So, want to lead it off, Zach? Who do you have for stepping up?
I've got my first one, of course, I want to talk about is plays for the Indianapolis Colts, favorite team. Mack and Taylor. Everybody is drafting Taylor, it seems, very high in the draft, higher than I would have ever expected after we had drafted him in the second round.
He is going higher than Mack.
But at the same time, it's been announced that Mack is the starter.
Yes.
And that he will play behind him. So with Jonathan Taylor, I feel like you're drafting him. He's ranked the 24th overall running back going into the draft this year. That's not terrible, but I think there's a lot to lose in that fact simply because he's going to be splitting time with Mack, and Mack is going to be the starter. And if you're not getting enough carries, you're not getting the passing work, which they use Nyheim Hines. Honestly, the Colts backfield is kind of a three-headed horse.
I mean, Mack had 1,000 yards last year, so
Mack is good. He's not bad, and he was riddled with injuries also. And the team went through, I think, a little bit of a hit with everything that had gone on last year. Andrew Luck retiring 2 weeks before the season, and just all the changes, and it wore him down because they started the season great, 5-1.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What do you got on your list?
My first for stepping up is going to be a quarterback, Tua and Fitzpatrick. It looks like they're shopping Rosen, so they're going with the combination of Tua Fitzpatrick. They haven't announced a starter yet. Me being a huge Dolphins fan, I'm excited about the possibility of Tua being healthy and getting the starting spot from Fitzpatrick. But if Fitzpatrick they're going to go with, I'm comfortable with Fitzpatrick right now until Tua is ready. Fitzpatrick showed at the end of the season that we can win games. We did start off rocky last year at the quarterback situation, at the quarterback position, and they kind of pulled it together at the end of the year. I see them within year 2 with their head coach and progressing a lot. And if Tua is the one behind Tua taking up position as the starter, I see us just excelling and getting better.
I could see that. I know Fitzpatrick. I have a feeling Fitzpatrick's going to start, but I can easily see Tua, 4 games, 6 games, 8 games into the season taking over if you guys aren't excelling in the actual win category. My next one is Herbert and Taylor at the quarterback position. San Diego Chargers, Taylor has been announced the starter. I do think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for Herbert, but I don't think they drafted him for nothing. So I truly believe if in this kind of the same instance, if they don't get off to a great start and they start to sink, they're going to throw in the rookie at the 8 games in, 10 games in, and they're going to get him some feel-good time, some let me swim these waters, test them out a little bit. And that to me says that eventually he will be stepping up. He will be taking that position, and that's why I had to go with Herbert and Taylor. Do you have another one?
Actually, mine is also another quarterback. I have a couple quarterbacks here on my stepping up.
All right.
So we're gonna go with Wentz and Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz did pretty good last year. He did play 16 games, which is a first for Carson Wentz to play all 16 games. You know what I mean? And he had 4,000 yards. He does get riddled with the injury bug. And I think that if he does get hurt, that Jalen Hurts it puts him in a perfect position to show how good he is. And I think that Jalen Hurts
which
will
is
be
a
a
strong
very,
possibility.
very good quarterback in this league. I don't want to see Carson Wentz get hurt. I would not want to see that. He played good last year, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. His receivers being hurt riddled him. If they can keep all these guys healthy,
the question isn't, is he good? The question is, can he stay healthy?
Yes, and
that's what it
I
leads
feel
to.
if he can't stay healthy, Jalen Hurts can step up and be a perfect person in that position.
Yeah, that's why they drafted him. It's an insurance policy, and an insurance policy, I think they learned with Nick Foles can pay off in dividends.
Yeah. I think maybe the Bears might look into that this year too on the Nick Foles situation.
Exactly. All right. I got Pittman and Campbell. Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman Jr.
Another Colts pick here.
Another Colts pick here. I just see him overtaking at least. I don't see him taking T.Y. Hilton out of the lineup in no way, shape, or form. But I do think that he has the talent, and there's a reason they drafted him where they drafted him. There's a reason we haven't gone out and tried to sign any other wide receivers. I think Pittman is going to be a receiver the Colts hold on to for a while. I think he's going to be that transition wide receiver. I think T.Y. Hilton is going to teach him a lot. And I just believe that his athleticism, his height, his catching ability, he's going to step above Campbell. Campbell's going to become just that third option, that speed threat option in the deep field. So I see Pittman stepping up above Campbell easily.
Pittman was tremendous in college. Campbell had flashes last year. You know what I mean? But I do agree with you. I can see Pittman kind of overtaking Campbell on the depth chart. Stepping up, if you will.
Yeah. Stepping it up.
All right, well, my next, I'm going to lean away from my quarterbacks for right now, and I'm going to go with another set of wide receivers. Same thing. Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. Gallup is the number 2 receiver, and it's not that I think that CeeDee Lamb is just going to go in there and take his spot. Michael Gallup is very good. Michael Gallup had a very good season last year. I just think with the way that Prescott throws the ball around, it gives CeeDee Lamb opportunity to step up and be in position to be the number 2 receiver if he gets the ball to him, maybe a little more than Gallup does. Maybe if he gets 60% over 40% of the passes.
As far as you can see, too, from like the training camp tape and reports, and CeeDee Lamb is excelling and
looking great.
He is looking amazing. So I think Michael Gallup is good, but I think CeeDee Lamb is just better. I think he's going to be better.
Yes.
So yes, I could see the same thing.
There's a lot of dangerous weapons in Dallas.
Just moving up that, and same thing as the T.Y. Hilton, Pittman. Do you see Lamb going up above Cooper?
No,
I wouldn't say that.
No, I don't see that happening.
I just figured I'd ask.
No. Like I said, I think for me it was more about the 2-3 spot, and not that he was just gonna take it from him, but I can see him stepping up into the spot and being the number 2 receiver.
All right. Well, I've got Cooks and Fuller. Fuller is listed as the number 1 receiver. Cooks is number 2. I think this could go 2 different ways. You could see Fuller get hurt, and of course, Cooks takes the number 1 spot. Or you could see supposedly Cooks and Deshaun Watson's chemistry that I guess they've been developing since before training camp started. They met up and were throwing the ball, getting used to each other. So I think that can make a big difference in an offseason. I'm seeing it with T.Y. Hilton and Phillip Rivers.
There's a plethora of quarterbacks there or wide receivers there in Houston. I feel like those guys are going to push each other. I don't know who could be 1 and 2 there. They have Kenny Stills there. Could be a 1-2-3 punch. They also have...
I think Kenny Stills will be, I think he's just going to be that deep threat. They
The
throw in
utility
there.
guy, yeah.
When someone's coming out for a breather, and the other team is tired down, they're going to bring in that fresh wide receiver that can just run your socks off.
Yeah, they also have Randall Cobb. And
Yep.
So they got 4 guys there that can transition to almost any wide receiver position on the field. It's going to work out very well for them. I have one more on my stepping up, and it's going to be quick here. We're going to go over to Carolina with Bridgewater and P.J. Walker. P.J. Walker was very good when he was playing in the XFL. We've seen Bridgewater as a backup quarterback play very well. We've seen him when he was in Minnesota in his first couple seasons play very well as the starter. He's been riddled with injuries as a starter after that. I'm anxious to see how Bridgewater does, but the segment is called Stepping Up, and if Bridgewater doesn't play well, I feel like P.J. Walker will step up into his spot and fill in nicely. So that's a stepping up you should watch for is P.J. Walker and Teddy Bridgewater.
That's a very under-the-radar pick. I don't think most would have went with that, so maybe that helps someone out there.
You heard
know what
it
I mean?
here first.
I find it a little, little bit of a reach simply because of how 4 years. What was it? 4 years, $63 million for Bridgewater. So I think, but you never know. So that's your take. So we're gonna get into value draft picks going into 2020.
Before we get into our value picks, I just want to let you guys know that you can check us out, ask us questions, or just visit and see the content that we are posting on any of our social media platforms. You can check us out on our Twitter at EasyBrosFFPod. You can check us out on our Facebook page at Easy Bros. And you could also see us at our website at EasyPodBros at EasyBrosFantasyFootball.com.
Don't forget to come by, check us out. Give us a like, hit subscribe, send us to somebody else, spread us around. We're trying to build a community here.
Share.
Now back into value draft picks going into 2020. I'm going to start us off with my quarterback, Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen last year was pretty good. He could throw the ball, could throw it deep. He could run the ball. He loved to run the ball in the red zone. And he sneakily crept his way up to the 5th overall quarterback to win last year's fantasy rankings. So, and I want to give you one name, Patrick Mahomes. You draft him in the 2nd round, right? Some people in the 1st, just to get him, to make sure they have him.
1st, 2nd with Patty Mahomes, yeah.
Josh Allen.
They're my homie.
Josh Allen is getting drafted in the 10th round. And Patrick Mahomes was 6. Allen was 5. So that is definitely my value pick at quarterback. It's not a deep dive quarterback. He's still in that midsection area, but it's someone you can grab.
Extreme value.
Yes, gives you extreme value. If the Deshaun Watson's gone, if the
Kyler
Russell
Murray's
Wilson,
of the world, Russell Wilson's.
If they're gone, then you still got Josh Allen. You can pick him up. It's okay. I'll do it with you. What about you, Eddie? You got a quarterback?
My quarterback is a reach. All right. I'm not even tell you his name. Okay. I'm just gonna feed you stats for a second. Okay.
All right.
He is going in around the 18th round in average drafts. Okay. Quarterback.
Ooh.
Quarterback in average drafts. Okay. This quarterback finished in passing at number 16 overall in passing. This guy is going in the 18th round. He finished top 20, 16, okay? He had 3,600 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Do you know who I am?
Drew Lock.
No. I am Kirk Cousins.
Okay. Yes, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, he is.
He's a draft value.
Oh my gosh, I looked right past him.
He is a value pick at 18.
I kid you not. My eyes were going down the list. I'm like 18th. I'm like, there's a couple, and I looked right past him.
Yeah.
All right.
18th round. You can get him deep back there. And some
And
I
he
think
has
it was
finished top 10 before, so
23
it's not like he couldn't do it again.
23% of free league drafts he's being undrafted.
All right. My next one is Raheem Mostert. Not saying that he finished top 10 in fantasy last year or anything like that, but he finished 27th. But he also wasn't the starter the whole year. He also was held out to see. I'm truly believe just so Shanahan could see what the other running backs could do. But there at the end of the season last year and in the playoffs, Mostert showed who he is. He's the starter.
That's
He's
why
the starter.
they were okay with giving Breida to Miami.
Exactly. So I think for where he's going this year, he's a steal. You can easily get Mostert. I believe it's in the, don't get me wrong, I'm thinking it's about the 8th or 9th round. Anyways, but he is definitely a value pick. And if you're looking for a starter, in your mid area, you forgot to pick up a second running back, you can easily grab Mostert. You got a running back for us, Eddie?
I do have a running back, and we're going to go by way of South Beach to a guy named Howard. Okay? Let me tell you about Howard here. Howard.
Dwight Howard?
Dwight Howard. Get out of here. Jordan Howard. Come on, sir.
Hey.
Jordan Howard.
Hey, Dwight Howard. Orlando Magic, baby.
Yeah, not in South Beach.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways, this is football, my friend. So,
yeah.
Jordan Howard.
I don't see a map in here.
A lot of people don't understand that since Jordan Howard has entered in the league, he is top 5 in touchdowns scored. Jordan Howard has quietly came over to the Miami Dolphins. A lot of people are not talking about it. And I think that he's going to make a tremendous impact to our running game.
I think him and Breida are going to be a great 1-2 punch.
He's going in the 8th round, going maybe a little in some drafts he's falling to 9 or 10. So it's a definitely value draft pick to get Jordan Howard in the 8th or 9th round. Like I said, if you look up his stats, he's top 5 in the league in rushing touchdowns since he's entered in the league, and I don't see that stopping for Jordan Howard.
All right, I've got a wide receiver for you, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp
I like it.
finished 4th in fantasy football last year. 4th in rankings. I believe last year he was going, 2nd round? So people were drafting him high, and they got what they deserved for drafting him high. This year, people are drafting him, I believe it's the 4th round. I think he's well worth a 3rd, maybe even 2nd pick, let alone getting him in the 4th. That's a steal in the 4th. You're getting a wide receiver 1 that's could possibly finish number 1.
He had 10 touchdowns last year, over 1,100 receiving yards.
I would personally much rather get me a nice running back in the first 2 rounds, 2 of them, and go get Kupp after.
Longevity. He played 16 games.
Yeah. Devontae Adams.
In a league with
injury
injuries.
history.
Yes.
Julio Jones. Tyreek Hill. Injury histories.
AJ Green.
But you know what? You could easily go with him, right?
Yeah.
So I would go Kupp. I also have Julian Edelman as another one. I want to throw that in there. Just a quick note. Julian Edelman is probably someone far from everybody's mind. He is ranked I believe in the 30s this year going into drafts at the wide receiver position. And this is a guy that not only can catch the ball, he runs the ball occasionally, and then also throws the ball occasionally. This guy was the number 1 wide receiver at quarterback last year. And so
every bit helps in fantasy.
And that helped him make it to the number 7 wide receiver in fantasy. And he was getting drafted in the 8th round last year. So that's the kind of move and the kind of knowledge that can easily take you into winning a fantasy championship. What do you got?
My next guy is a receiver by way of Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson is switching to a new team. He actually played a a full 16 games last year, which usually isn't his MO. He usually gets hurt. The fact that he played 6 games is really good, and I think his quarterback getting hurt, or what he have, mono, so he was gone for 4, 5, 6 weeks maybe it was, so I think that really kind of put Anderson on the shelf a little bit. He did have about 800 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, I believe it was. I believe in Carolina, he can step that up. He's going to be the number 1 receiver there. I've seen him a lot in New York, and I know that he
even over DJ Moore.
Yeah, I think that he can be the number 1 receiver.
I could see him taking Curtis Samuel.
No, he'll be the number 1 receiver. He was number 1 receiver in New York the whole time he was there.
I think we're gonna have to come up with something for fantasy bets here.
Yeah. He's gonna show people. He's gonna show people. You'll see.
All right.
He's going in the 8th round. He's a value pick in the 8th round, and he's even sliding further down because DJ Moore. A lot of people think, they haven't seen Robbie Anderson. I've seen him a lot, and I know that he can play. So I think that he can creep up on your draft boards.
Austin Hooper is going to be my tight end value pick, simply because this guy was a beast last year. He hardly dropped the ball. He wasn't a touchdown beast, but somehow managed to be the number 1 tight end in fantasy last year, up until I believe it was like week 12. Then he got injured for a couple games, had to sit out a couple of games, but then he even came back
and still played
well. He's going to a great team. I feel like he's going to be more. If Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley could open hit the middle of the field up like that for Hooper, imagine what Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, all those guys
spread the field out.
Yeah, spread the field out, and Hooper's going to go to work, and Baker Mayfield has a history of loving tight ends, and if we think that Mayfield might have a chance of coming back, well, if this is a make and break year for him, then I think when you're going to check down, you're probably going to be looking for that tight end.
I think this might be a make or break year for the whole
he finished
team.
number 6 last year, and he's going in the 12th round this year.
That's a steal. That's a steal. That's more than a value. That's a steal.
That is a steal. That's like, don't even draft a tight end until the 6th.
Yeah. You could just hold on. Just wait for it. Just wait for it.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right. I don't have a tight end. I am going to go with another receiver, and my receiver is going to be DJ Metcalf. He's going in the 5th round. I think that's a great value for him, and other leagues, some leagues he's dropping because of Tyler Lockett. He had 900 receiving yards last year and 7 touchdowns. I can see him just obliterating that 900 yards. I think that he can get at least 15. The touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, that's quite a bit of touchdowns. That's a good year, 7 touchdowns. But his receiving, I think, is going to go way up, which is going to give him a lot more fantasy relevance, and I think his receptions are going to go up. It's going to give him a lot more fantasy relevance in a PPR league. So DJ Metcalf in the 5th round is another one of my draft value picks.
You think he's going to overtake Lockett?
Not necessarily.
I think he has the. I think he can. No. I think he could outdo Lockett this year.
Yeah, he's gonna definitely, I believe, get more.
And you're getting
receptions.
him in the 5th, and you're getting Lockett in the 2nd?
Yeah,
early 3rd.
It's gonna be like a Odell Landry situation. Like, that you're gonna get your receptions with Landry. That he's gonna get yak yards, and that's what Metcalf is gonna bring you. So Lockett's going to get you a deep threat, and that's what Odell brings you. It's going to be that same kind of situation. You're not going to stray away from Landry because of Odell. You're going to pick both of those guys because they're going to get it. And that, to me, is the same with DJ Metcalf and Lockett. Don't stray away from Metcalf because of Lockett, and don't stray away from Lockett because of Metcalf. They're both value.
Yep, plenty to go around when it comes to wide receivers. Let's get into deep dives. This is where we're looking for people probably in between, rounds 10, 16, depending on how many players you have in your league. But, those really diamond in the roughs, the little nugget, needle in the haystack, whatever you want to call it, we have a couple we'd like to share with you. First off, I'd like to start with Cam Newton. Cam Newton is now the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots. I'm not a Patriots fan. I especially was not a Patriots fan with Tom Brady. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady love to kick it off against each other, but Cam Newton, I feel like, has the best shot he is going to have to resurrect his career, and I think he has lived his life the last 3, 4, 5 months knowing that. And he has worked and worked and worked, and all the reports say it looks amazing, that he's got chemistry going with N'Keal Harry, that Edelman says it's great having his energy around and that he brings a whole nother element to the game and makes him want to work hard. So when you got a quarterback like that that's already, you can tell, have an effect on the team, and then you have Bill Belichick, there's got to be something there. And Newton is going, I'm pretty sure it's like around 8, maybe even later.
I think it's 8, 9 in some leagues, yeah.
So that's a pretty good fantasy value. A guy that's going to run the ball, throw the ball, and he's not known for making horrible decisions
for a
with
quarterback
the ball
of
either.
his caliber.
Yeah, and you're getting great value. You got one for us?
I do have a quarterback, but I'm going to stray away from my quarterback for a second. I'm going to go with a defense. A defense. A defense, and it's not even defense that's getting drafted.
You picked a kicker?
It's called deep dive, buddy. All right, this is a segment is deep dives, and we're going deep dives with a defense, and that defense is the Miami Dolphins defense. I know what you're thinking. The Miami Dolphins were a terrible team last year, but we went 0-7. After that 0-7, we started winning some games, and the philosophy and the team started changing. The last 8 games of the Dolphins, we had 14 takeovers in the last 8 games. Our defense only got better during free agency. So I see the defense stepping it up. If we can have 14 turnovers in 8 games, imagine what we can have in 16. You know what I mean? And like I said, we only got better. We got Byron Jones. We stole a couple guys from the Patriots. You know what I mean? Kyle Van Noy.
A good thing.
Kyle Van Noy came over, and he's going to be a great leader on our defense. And I just think that
Angba from Kansas City.
Yeah, Agba from Kansas City. The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. So we have some pieces added into a defense that, like I said, at the end of the season was just taking the ball away from people. Xavier Howard only gets better with age, and I only see the Dolphins defense getting better.
All right. Another one I got on my list is Antonio Gibson. I think eventually he's going. This probably would have been a good guy for stepping up also, but I think he's going to be a guy that here in a game. Well, don't hold me to it. I think he is the starter. Isn't he the starter? And Adrian Peterson is listed as the second.
On depth chart says 1-2 him as a starter, but
okay.
Like I said, you don't know how that's going to start when they come in the game. Either
if
way,
he is starting, I think that he could easily bring someone a fantasy championship if you're taking him in the 12th round is what we grabbed him in. Yeah. So that's pretty valuable. Running back 1 in round 12. Like
even if he's not running back 1 on
he will be
on the
even
Washington. They're not going to run AP every down. He's going to have some rest. So you're going to get Gibson in there. You've seen what they did with Chris Thompson when he was there last year and Adrian Peterson. So Gibson, we don't know if he has an injury history yet. He's young guy, so we'll see how that goes. But as far as he is depth chart number 1, numero uno, going in round 13. Great value, great deep dive.
I've got a CeeDee Lamb going in round 11. And I like you said earlier, and like I agreed, I think that he has a great chance of overtaking Gallup at the number 2 and possibly giving you wide receiver 2 numbers, maybe possible flex numbers. So, keep it short and sweet with that one.
We already talked a lot of CB Lamb. Like,
Yeah.
I
don't
think
need it. We need to
people
go.
know that we are high on CD
I
Lamb.
think everybody's talking about CeeDee Lamb right now in the world, so
I'm definitely going to tell you about a wide receiver that most people are not talking about.
let's hear it.
Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter Renfrow. All right.
All right, from the Las Vegas Raiders. They
Okay.
lost Tyrell Williams, right?
Yes.
Was
Out
it
for season.
out for the season? So Renfro's going to step it up. Last year, he only had 49 receptions. He had 605 yards. He had 4 touchdowns. But I believe he only played in 7 games. 7 games. He gets a lot more under his belt this year. He is going to be stepped up in the depth chart based on injury. And Ruggs is a rookie. You know what I mean? So, to me, Renfrow is the guy that knows the depth chart. Or knows the playbook.
Knows Derek Carr.
Knows Derek Carr. So, I would say a deep dive, Hunter Renfrow.
Okay. I've got Doyle as a tight end deep dive. Doyle is going in the 14th round. Phillip Rivers loves tight ends. I don't know if that's like a new story to people. Have you heard of a guy named Antonio Gates?
Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry? Yeah. Anyways, Jack Doyle. Boom. Mic drop. I don't need to say anything else.
Yeah,
As long as he stays healthy.
Hey,
How about that? I'll add that. Because,
say Jack
he
Doyle-
does have injury issues, but if he stays healthy, Phillip Rivers will get him the ball.
Yeah, you say Jack Doyle, tight
He'll
end.
probably have the
Phillip
best
Rivers.
season he's had in the NFL.
It's like fishing, right? You're just
Yep.
gonna throw it out there. You know that Phillip Rivers is gonna catch that tight end. He's gonna get it to him. I have a tight end also, and it's a guy that found himself a new home, and that's Eric Ebron. Now here in Pittsburgh, they have Ben Roethlisberger is back.
Oh.
Ben Roethlisberger likes the tight end.
Coming from the Colts.
Yeah, Eric Ebron is a guy that can score touchdowns. He's a great red zone target. He fared well for Matthew Stafford for a lot of years. I thought that he was going to fare well for whoever the quarterback was in Indianapolis. It just didn't work out there for him. He didn't play very many games last year for the Colts, but I think with Pittsburgh, he's going to step it up, and you're going to see a different Eric Ebron there. And,
Do you think he'll
Pittsburgh.
overtake Vance McDonald?
They can do a 1-2. I think with tight ends, they do so many switching outs for different lineups that you can go with another tight end. I have one more quick deep dive, and it's going to be Drew Lock. Drew Lock is going in round 19. Let me tell you, Drew Lock started 5 games last year. He went 4-1. The man threw he threw for 1,000 yards and had 7 touchdowns in 5 games. So I would say that on a full season under his belt, he can, times that.
Yeah, him and Sutton seem to have a really good chemistry.
They drafted Jerry Jeudy.
Him and Fant.
They have
Or is it Font? No Font?
Font. No,
Oh,
Font. Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, no. And then they have
It is only spelled F-A-N-T.
yeah.
So
Like I said, Jerry Jeudy. They brought Melvin Gordon in, and they have Philip Lindsay. That's a good 1-2 punch. I only see good things for Drew Lock.
hey guys, if you got time and you want to join the Easy Bros community, come on over to the www.patreon.com/easybros. We are working on an extensive Patreon membership. You can join, I believe, anywhere from $5, and we'll have different pay scales going up as soon as we get our website going up. But if you want to come and join, donate $1 just to join for now. There will be more features coming. We are just starting out, and the Easy Bros community can only help us get bigger and bigger the more that people join. So, just check us out, and if it's not something that you're into, you can also check us out, like we said, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our webpage.
Yep, come check us out. Patreon.com/easybros. Subscribe to us and give us a shout.
We're going to get into our fantasy football predictions for the year. We're going to start off with best defensive team this year. What are you thinking, Eddie? I'm thinking the Steelers.
Steelers. That's
Sorry, I
good
guess I
choice.
asked you what you wanted to, but then I'm over here looking. I'm like, I really want to talk about this. I'm
Go
thinking,
ahead, lead it off. Go ahead.
I'm thinking the Steelers. The Steelers did great last year. I'm pretty sure they finished. What was it? They finished number 2 in defensive rankings for fantasy football last year. And I think they have a great chance of finishing number 1 this year. They have all their weapons back healthy. They have Minkah Fitzpatrick in a system that he didn't even know. Getting traded to did amazing. So what do you think he's going to do once he's got the system down? Once they've got everybody back from injury, Roethlisberger, Connor's healthy, Juju Smith-Schuster's healthy. So the team's going to turn around, and I think that is going to bring nothing but positivity to the defense. And if your defense, while I was getting the crap kicked out of them all last season, finishes the number 2 defense only behind the Patriots, you were doing something right, and you're probably going to do it again.
My prediction for defensive the year, I would like to say the Dolphins, because they were my pick earlier for their deep dive. But I'm going to have to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I just feel like their defense is only getting better. They added Calais Campbell to the front of the line. I know that they lost Earl Thomas, but I feel like
Also drafted McQueen.
yeah, they drafted Queen. So that's going to help them
Is his name
tremendously.
Queen?
Patrick Queen, I believe it is.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But and then like I said, I know they lost Earl Thomas, but I feel like that they'll be able to fill that void with somebody else because the defense was already rocking before he got there. So I think that Baltimore is going to be my pick for defense of the year.
How about we get into comeback player? Who's your comeback player? Who's your Tannehill?
My comeback player is going to be Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, he missed some games because
Sell
of that
me on
little holdout. He's going to Denver, where I think that Drew Lock is going to just step it up, like we said in the last segment. And Melvin Gordon is just going to be a big part of that. I think that he's going to be a good punch, and Lindsey's going to help him out. But overall, Melvin Gordon is going to step up and show us he's the Melvin Gordon of old, and the Melvin Gordon that the Chargers drafted so high overall.
I don't know. He's having issues with that high elevation.
He'll be okay. He'll figure it out.
All
He's
right.
a pro. Okay, how about next? We're gonna go with Rookie of the Year. Who do you think, Zach, will be your Rookie of the Year?
I think my comeback player of the year
Comeback of the Year. I'm sorry. Yeah, comeback.
is going to be Cam Newton. Cam Newton didn't play basically the entire season last year. Was a little banged up the year before that at the end of the season, going into last season. And so he decided to get himself taken care of last year. So he was out the entire year, and I truly believe that he is finally back to the old Cam Newton, and he is going to come back with that MVP fantasy form with the Patriots and Bill Belichick.
I think all these little short videos that they've been showing of him, he's looking really good. I don't want to admit that anybody from the Patriots is doing good, but
I know.
Cam Newton
It hurts.
is that guy.
It hurts as a Colts fan. I've got my Rookie of the Year as Henry Ruggs. Bet you weren't expecting that one.
I'm high on Ruggs. I really like Ruggs.
I just think with Williams going out with that injury, and Ruggs was listed as the number 1 before even that.
Yeah.
Renfro is the number 2.
This is why I like Renfro, because Ruggs is going
I
to
think he's going to be productive. I think he's a sneaky wide receiver too.
With
at
receptions.
the late rounds. But I just think Ruggs he's put in that. Carr's got to throw the ball to someone. He can't throw the ball to Waller nonstop. And Renfro and him are going to open each other up. So
yeah.
I think Ruggs he's one of the fastest players in the draft.
Yeah.
So if not the fastest, and I think he's going to show that. And I think Derek Carr is great at showing the speed of his receivers.
Yeah. If you remember correctly, when Carr had Cooper, he used to take the top off of the defenders all the time.
Yes.
So Ruggs, I believe, is faster than
Yes.
Cooper. So I think that this is going to be a huge advantage, and I like the pick of Ruggs.
All right, let's get into your Rookie of the Year.
My rookie of the year is going to be Tua Tagovailoa. I think that he's going to become the starter.
I think people are going to think you like the Dolphins.
I do like the Dolphins. I do like the Dolphins, but hey, I haven't been going Dolphin heavy here.
Oh, all right.
I have not been. My pick for Tua is...
I think Eddie is drafting all Dolphins player for his team.
Hey, I have not drafted any Dolphins players on any of my fantasy drafts yet.
Oh,
except for the one that we did. We're doing on Devontae Parker. So.
I haven't either.
But Tua, I think he's gonna learn a lot from Fitzpatrick. I think that
I agree with that. The beard.
I think that our team and our offense is balanced enough to help him.
Fitz magic.
Yeah, I think our team is balanced enough to help him move and transition along through his rookie season, and I think that he could ultimately become the rookie of the year.
All right. Well, I'm going to go and give you my MVP. Are you ready for this? My MVP.
Let's hear it, because you're probably not going to guess mine.
This is my round. Okay.
Drum
roll. My MVP is going to be no other than Dak Prescott.
What?
Dak Prescott. Yep. It's going to be him. Last year, Dak Prescott finished as the number 2 fantasy quarterback in the league.
A lot of weapons there in Dallas, though.
Right now, I'm pretty sure he's going in the 6th, 7th round. I'm sure in between the 6th and 8th round. But he's gonna put up the numbers, and I believe with CeeDee Lamb, with Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, everything that he's got around him. Don't forget Blake Jarwin. He can do something special. He had almost 4,800 passing yards last year. He was above Patrick Mahomes. He was above Russell Wilson. 49. My mistake. But I'm saying is
he killed it.
You can pick that 2 halfbacks. Heck, you want to go get 3 halfbacks first 3 rounds of the draft? Go for it, and then get Prescott.
Here's a stat for you, because I like stats, right? Here's a stat for you. 30 and 11, meaning he had 30 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Do you know who said 30 touchdowns? Jameis Winston. 33 touchdowns. You know how many interceptions he had? 30 interceptions. Dak Prescott was killing it last year, and very quietly killing it.
And that is my MVP prediction. I would love to hear yours.
My MVP prediction is a guy that got
Fantasy
hurt last year.
MVP. This
Fantasy
is the big
MVP
dog.
Got hurt last year is going to be Saquon Barkley.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
You think he's going to overtake McCaffrey?
I think that he's going to overtake McCaffrey. I think that he's going to show you what he wanted to show everybody last year, that he is the best running back in the league.
I think he definitely has a chance to be or go above McCaffrey. Him and only a few others are probably at that ceiling. Yeah. So I could see that if he stays healthy. Just like, look at his first year, his rookie year. He was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Yeah, honestly, if I'm getting the first pick, it's hard for me to go either McCaffrey or Barkley. I can go either one of those guys. I know McCaffrey. I'm going
McCaffrey number 1
I
every time.
understand that McCaffrey is going so high on everybody's board. I picked Saquon last year as my number 1 pick. I feel like he wouldn't let me down twice in a row. So I would just go for it.
Can't do me dirty twice.
Yeah, you're not going to Keenan Allen me.
I think they can.
So I my fantasy MVP this year is going to be Saquon Barkley.
All right, guys. Well, we've got a little tiny segment for you here at the end. That was the end of the predictions. We wanted to go through something for a little fun. We decided to do something called My Favorite Player. We did three teams, Colts, Cardinals, and Dolphins, because between the Easy Bros, that is our favorite 3 teams. So I'm going to start you off, give you my 3. For the Colts, it's obviously T.Y. Hilton. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year with Phillip Rivers this year. I think if he can stay healthy, because he has not been able to in the past 2 seasons, if he can get a full season, you're looking at a wide receiver 1 in the 5th round. So very simple buy. Dolphins, I would go Parker. I drafted Parker last year. He paid dividends for me. I would draft Parker again. I can't believe that after last year that people aren't on the Parker train. So I'm jumping on that train. I'm riding it all the way to the fantasy
finished fifth in
championship.
receiving. He finished fifth in receiving last year.
Yes, like Parker is the real deal, and I think he's going to prove that this year. Most of his stats, if you go and you look up Michael Thomas and you look up Devontae Parker, you're not going to see a very big difference
I
at
think
all.
it's receptions. The receptions that makes a difference.
I know, but I'm just saying, give him a little more, give him a better quarterback. He doesn't have Drew Brees. He hasn't had Drew Brees his whole career.
We went 0-7. Yeah, we went 0-7 in the beginning of the year last year, and he barely played in that 0-7 stretch.
Yeah. And then I've got Kyle Murray for the Cardinals. I think Murray is going to have a phenomenal year. I easily see him finishing top 3. I hardly see him dropping out of the top 5. And that's a quality pick when he's going right around Dak Prescott. I believe 6th round. In between, some people, are going to draft him early, especially here in Arizona. Everybody is an Arizona fan, so
Kyler Murray bandwagon, everybody's on it, man.
yep.
The short train.
But definitely, I think he'll make a difference for your team. So, Eddie, favorite players?
My favorite players, I'm gonna lead off with the Dolphins, and it's gonna be tight end Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki is moving up on the tight end rankings. He had a phenomenal second half of the season. Like everybody knows, they were doing a tank for Tua last year. Not really tanking for Tua, but we did go 0-7. And I really don't think the team was tanking all that well. I think that it was a new system. They were trying to get the hang of it, and when I feel like that they got the hang of it, it was a whole different
I think he's
football
gonna be
team.
getting sicky.
Yeah, he's gonna be, he's gonna be making everybody getting sicky on the field because he's gonna be scoring touchdowns galore, and and that's something that I see. Arizona Cardinals, I'm gonna have to go with former Dolphin Kenyon Drake. I was very high on Kenyon Drake as a Dolphin. I really like Kenyon Drake. I call him the Miami Miracle Man. He's the one.
Yes, he did call him that before he went to the Cardinals, so I vouch for that.
Hey, he's the one that capped off that beautiful play that was the Miami Miracle. So I'm always going to be a big lover of Kenyon Drake. And I think that with the offense that they have going on in Arizona, that he's going to be a huge part of it, and that he's going to show everybody else what he can do and what Kenyon Drake can do. My Colts player is going to be good old man Phillip Rivers.
All right.
I'm a fan of Phillip Rivers. I like his attitude. I like the way he plays the game.
I'm just worried is he going to be able to play in the cold, or
You're in
is
a dome.
his old bones just going to
You guys
freeze
are in a,
up?
you
and
guys
he's
are
not
in a
gonna be able to
dome,
move.
so I don't
It's
see.
cold in that dome,
Nah, I don't see the dome affecting him. I see.
and
maybe,
he's got to go play other places with snow
Yeah, but
that I don't think he's normally used to doing a lot.
he has to play
in
4.
16 years
He got to
of the
play 4
Chargers.
games in the snow. 4 games in the snow. I think that he'll be okay if he's playing
Hey.
everything else in the dome, or he's traveling to go play other teams.
All right, you convinced me. I'm a Colts fan, so
I'm just
I'll
saying.
I'll jump in with you.
He throws the ball. He's going to get it down deep. He's a veteran. He's going to help everybody else in the offense. And I just think that he's stepping into a perfect situation, and Phillip Rivers is probably going to lead you guys to winning your division.
What do you think the Miami Dolphins is going to finish record-wise?
I think that we're going to go 10-6.
I'm calling 9-7 for the Colts. What do you think the Cardinals?
10-6.
10-6. See, I'm going 11-5. I think the Cardinals.
I like 11-5.
I think the Cardinals can go that far.
I like 11-5.
I
I could say they could go 11-5.
thing.
I just my only thing with the Cardinals going 11-5 is their defense going to be able to keep with their offense.
Yeah, that is very true. Very true. Good point. All right, well, that's going to do it for today, Easy Bros. Don't forget to send us messages on any of our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our website. Send us messages. Ask us about trades. Ask us about any of your lineup problems. We would love to talk to you. We'd love to get back to you and build this community with you. Check out our next episode, and we will catch you another time.
Once again, thank you for listening to the Easy Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. Check us out at www.patreon.com/easybros.
Thanks for joining the Easy Bros of the Easy Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. Don't forget to join us for our next episode. Like, subscribe, and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and also our website, EasyPod Bros at EasyBrosFantasyFootball.com.